Hello, my name is Bearjay. This is Black Desert Mobile strategy channel exclusively for F2P players. Today, we'll be talking about the tips and tricks for the day one. For the hardcore players, you'll be able to see everything that I talk about today on a day one, I believe. If you're a casual player, maybe within 2 or 3 days. However, keep your eyes peeled for whenever this content that I talk about becomes available to you, and so you can make use of it as soon as possible, even before the tutorials in the Black Desert Mobile will tell you so. So you will have a head start compared to any other players. First, a server. If you're a new player, you would not know this, but there are, on each legion there will be 3 servers, and one of those servers will be a soft launch servers, which will be filled with people who have already played this game for nearly 2 months. You want to avoid those. And for American region, it is Heidel server. For Asian and European, I do not know the exact name of the server, but do your research before you pick your server and avoid the soft launch server and get into a new server where you can compete with the brand new players. Two, backbone of your growth in the beginning of the game is of course main quest. Um, so you should go forward with main quest as much as possible. And when you're doing so, if you go to one of the NPC, you'll find the NPC with the green exclamation mark. Green exclamation mark is a separate quest from a main quest, which is huge, which sometimes overlap with the main quest. So go ahead and click on those and accept those. And if those overlap with the main quest, you will be able to kill 2 quests at the same time. If it doesn't, go ahead and cancel those quests and you will be able to come back to them later. Number 2, outlaw mode, which will be available to you after level 40. Outlaw mode will give you more loot and more experience. However, this does turn on PvP mode in the field, so you could be attacked by other players. However, while you are running the main quest, you are always always on keyboard. So if you get killed, don't mind and just go ahead and restart. But while you're running the main quest, you will be able to collect more experience and loot by turning on the outlaw mode after level 40. And Black Spirit quest, if you go into Black Spirit quest, this is something that you will be running on a daily basis. It is limited to 3 of them per day for every family. However, there's one exception. When you're changing from tier 1 to tier 2, this does set in midday. So if you are at Black Spirit level 13, go ahead and stop feeding the Black Spirit until you complete all 3 of them. Then after you're done, go ahead and feed Black Spirit with the gear, so it's gonna be leveled up to level 14. Then this new Black Spirit quest will be available to you on the very same day. And Asian pallets and boss stamps are very, very expensive items, so you want to do that, and you want to keep your eyes peeled, and you want to know when the tier changes, so you don't lose out on some of those, because it'll if you change to the next tier in the middle of the quest, it's going to reset, and that's not going to be available to you at all. And the next is, while you're doing your main quest, you will be directed to the town. Town is, if you go to map, go to world map, and if you open them up, the ones with the red house, those are the town. When you're going to the town, there will be a bunch of NPCs there, and when you go to while you're in there, the there are things that you need to buy on a daily basis. If you go to, here's a map. If you go to the list, you'll find the NPC that has a pots. This pots, you should go in there whenever you have too much stuff in your bag. You can sell your junk and your weight will go down, so you'll have more room for the new loot. And also, you'll be able to find, buy some potion, which you will not need within first 3-4 days, because loot that you get from a main quest will be enough. The next one that you have to stop by on a regular basis, Crystal. Um, this is the only place that I ask you to spend any money on Crystal. Crystal becomes dime a dozen later in the game, and you don't want to spend your resources on it. But these are sold at a very cheap price, and it'll help you out in the beginning. In the beginning of the game. So this does reset every 12 hours or so. So go in there on a regular basis and purchase those crystals, so you can upgrade your crystals, but do not spend your resources on any other places to get these crystals until the later in the game. And also, second one that you wanna go to is a trade shop here. It is marked with coins and I believe whatever that is. That's 3 lines and whatnot. Go there. What this guy does is he's gonna buy some of this trading goods that you will get as a loot. If you look into my uh, bags, those are the trading goods, and you'll get to learn what those are. If you just sell them to any NPC, they sell it for 11,000, and if you sell it to the trade guy, he will buy it at 33,000. So always keep at least 1 or 2 of them if you have them in your bag, so you can sell it to them. And next, stamina. In the beginning of the game, people does not realize what to do with the stamina. The stamina is something that you can use in a lot of different places. One of the main things that's going to touch and concern you in the beginning of the game uh, is living skills. So let me just go to Hideout, which is usually the one that I use because it has all the resources for the logging, mining, and forage. But this you don't have to go to Hideout at all. It's just something that I use a lot of times. So you can go to any other town or zone that has trees and uh, trees and rocks and whatnot. If you go close to those resources, you will see this forage mark, and also you'll see a logging mark. You'll see the mining mark. So go and you will spend 5 stamina on each of them, and go ahead and spend all of them. It does fill up after time lapse, and usually it's gonna fill up to the full after 1 day, probably less. And you want to spend it in time, and you don't want to waste any of the stamina, because once it's full, it's not gonna go up anymore. And make sure that you spend everything every day. And in the beginning, the logging might be the best idea for you, and you will not have the automatic button like I do here. In the beginning, you have to do it manually. So go find the wood and go chop them down, and you will get your log and spend your stamina and not waste them. So the hierarchy of what you need to do is logging, then probably mining in the beginning. So it's going to be hard for the beginner to locate the rocks. So logging might be the choice for you in the beginning. Next, start your camp ASAP. As you run your main quest, you're going to run into a boss named the Red Nose, which is the first one. After you complete this quest, you will be able to open up your camp. Go ahead and start your camp as soon as possible, And because you do not have to stay in the camp, you can start the process and do whatever you need to do. Do not wait on camp. Your main main purpose on the camp in the beginning is getting as many workers as possible. And in the soft launch, you are able to get up to 25 if you upgrade your town hall up to tier 5. So you need to keep upgrading your tier 5 and your town hall to tier 5, and you need to keep upgrade your lodging so you can get all your workers. And while you're doing so, you'll be required to build a lot of other stuff in the camp. Follow the flow. If you need to know the detail, you can find it in my videos titled First 30-Day Strategy on the camp. There are 2 videos. There are details there. So build your camp as soon as possible. And when you're buying, when you're hiring the workers, your target worker is green because you need a certain amount of contribution point. If you start by too good a worker, you're not going to be able to get reach up to 25. Your objective here is getting a similar colored or same colored workers throughout, so you do not have to come back to camp as often. So your target is green. If you have to, you can get blue. And later on in the game, within about a month or so, after you collect enough contribution points, you will be able to have all the blues, but you do not want to start at blue because you will run out of contribution point in the middle of the game. You don't want to do that, and you want to wait on that. Let's see what else is there. Also, as you collect your, as you build on your workers, you want to start gather. And what you want to gather is in the very beginning, you will be using a lot of rock boulder and also log. And after that, you'll start to use other woods. So first thing that you need to do is log here and rock border, and then move on to the other woods. And any other stuff can wait. So do not waste any time on your workers. Keep on collecting them. They'll be used to build your camp. Also, if you need to, they can be converted into cash anytime. So one thing that you wanted to avoid if you wanna convert this into the cash in any time. Wild grass will not sell in the beginning of the game, so do not overdo wild grass if you will do some of the foraging, which I do not really recommend to do. And whenever you're in the camp, you will see the NPC who will give you those subquests which you want to collect on, and collect any of the loot they give here, and collect anything that is given. And you want to come back on a regular basis to collect whatever the loot that you can get from the camp. And the silver. Silver is a little bit tricky. However, in the beginning, the silver becomes inflated over time on a very stiff model. Within about 2 weeks, your worth of silver in the beginning and worth of silver in 2 weeks will be very different. However, you need to stash up about 4 million silver coins in the beginning of the game to purchase pet. Pet is something. Let's go back to the main screen. Come on. Okay, go ahead. Pet is something that while you're grinding, which is your bread and butter, while you're playing MMORPG game, and pet is something that's gonna collect the extra loot for you. And the one is given in the beginning, 2 you have to get somehow, and later in the game it'll be given within the event or whatnot. However, getting those second and third pets will be very challenging, and not having them early on will cost you dearly. So you need to have about 4 million silver stashed in when to purchase pet. You can purchase your pet in market, go to pet, and it will not be in the very beginning of the game for about a week or so. The pay to win players will be selling those, and as they realize the value of the pet, pet will not be sold for quite a while. And then for about 2 3 weeks, depending on the situation, when pet becomes a real problem in the game, I believe it's not the whale, but the developer will start to sell some pets. So if you do not score some pet in the very beginning of the game within a week or so, you will not be able to buy any pet without being pay to win players. So you need to find a way to collect silver. There are a number of ways to do that on early on. One way is arena, which you can do after level 15, I believe. If you go up to level 70 or so, you'll be able to have the 8 million silver. You don't need that much in the beginning. It's definitely going to help you a lot. But if you can do that, I heard some people that was able to reach level 70 within 2 3 hours. I can see that possible if you see some tactic. I do not have that video. Go ahead and look that up with other reviewers, and if you can find it, Arena might be a good source for you to stash some silver in the beginning of the game. And also, you can utilize market. You can sell your any overflow gears. The white, green, and blue gear will not sell later on the game, but in the very beginning, you can capitalize on the new players who did not do their study and who will try to purchase those gears in the market. You can sell those, and you'll be able to make some money off of that. And also, you can sell some of the blackstones and some of the APDP skill books if you find those. Good Blackstone will sell for about 300,000, and skill books also at about that price in the beginning of the game. So in the beginning of the game, there's some impact on your CP with those. However, you'll be able to quickly recover as you play play the game. So go ahead, do not sell all of those, but sell some of those to stash some of the money and use Arena to fill up the gap. And you want to make sure that you stash about $4 million, 4 million silvers, and in the beginning, and set it aside to purchase the pet from the market. And if you have happen to have any extra cash, you wanna buy whatever is on this per item. And the one thing that you can kind of you can buy other than pets are combat plus and camp plus, which becomes very valuable for the F2P players. So if you can find those and you have extra silver, go ahead and buy them and stash them, and you will need them later. And also, if you will get some of those as within the event, when you get it in the event, do not use them in the beginning. You will have time to use them later in the game, maybe 2 3 weeks later, once you have enough boss stamps and whatnot. But in the beginning, at least for about a week, do not use them. Avoid using that at all costs, because if you do use it early on the game when you don't need them, then you're gonna regret it dearly later. And also shop, something that you have to purchase every day. You want to go into the shop, and you want to go into Tali shop. And the Tali shop, there will be black pearl items. There will be 3 of the silver coin items. You want to purchase those, and in the beginning it will be mostly condensed what is it called? It's something that you can feed the black spirit. Um, and you want to buy those and the skill book if possible. If it's too expensive, you do not have to buy the skill books. And the second one that you wanted to buy is going to miscellaneous, go into general goods, and the chicken soup chest. This is only one black pearl. You can buy up to three. Make sure you buy everything, even if you don't need them right away. This will help you a lot as you play this game. And also, if you go here, add-ons, you'll be able to see the accessories here. And even though you should avoid spending your black pearls at all costs. Black pearl, in the beginning, if you play smart, you'll be able to collect anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 black pearl, and people will think, oh, I have a lot of black pearl, so I can spend them. No, black pearl is front loaded. You're gonna make a lot of them in the beginning. As you play the game, black pearl become very scarce, and you're not gonna be able to get as much. Hold on to the black pearl as much as possible. However, this is one screen where you can purchase and try to sell it on the market after you looking at the price and considering 30% fee. If you can make some money off of that after reading the trend, then do so by all means. And this tactic becomes obsolete as the time goes on. It is only applicable in the beginning of the game. Um, if you want to know the details on that, go ahead and find my video on the for market under first 30-day strategy. Let's see, let's move on to the next and the daily quest. If you go into task, you will have a daily quest, which you will not be able to complete every single one of them on a day one if you're not a hardcore player, because some of them simply will not be available to you. But as soon as they become available to you, you should set your goal on completing all 15 of them every day. And for the achievement, this is just a one-time task. So in the beginning, you don't really have to pay attention to it. Other than taking a look at it and see what is there and what kind of loot that you can make off of it. You can study them later on in the game. Um, and also a friend. If you go in there, go to the friend, you can add up to 50 friends in the beginning. Add anybody you would like to add. If you don't have 50 friends that you want to add more friends from the add screen, and you wanna go up to 50 at all time, and usually check if whoever is active and whoever is not. And the people who are not active, you wanna go ahead and cut them loose and refill with a new one. What this does is every day, within in 24-hour period, you'll be able to greet them all, and they will be able to greet you. And each way is three social coins you'll be able to collect if you manage well and keep all 50 friends on active side. Then you will be able to collect more of them. And with those, you can go into shop, and if you go into social and mileage, there are loots that you can purchase. However, the boss stamp and ancient tablet are very rare here, and these are not very good loot if I were to tell you. And if you can manage to save your social coins, I would, because I've seen many events that actually give a very good loot for the social coins. So go ahead and if you can go ahead and keep those social coins as much as possible. And also guild. You want to join your guild as soon as possible, because as you join, you'll be able to check in and you will collect more social coins here, and you'll be able to accept quests, three of them per day, and you will be able to build on your social coins and guild mileage. and whatnot. And depending on the guild, you'll have a passive skills, and also each guild have their own contents, such as guild balls and also not war. So you don't want to lose your loot and the fun in playing with your guild members. Make sure that you join the guild as soon as possible. And gear, when you're going into a gear, later on when you get to orange, of course you need to pay attention to your stats. However, up until yellow and red, what kind of gear that you have on with what kind of stats, such as critical and the speed or whatnot, do not pay attention to that. CP is what matters the most here, and stats, you can pay attention when you're fine tuning your character later on in the game. And the first month or so is not the time when you pay attention to your stats. So go ahead and ignore them. That's just gonna waste your nerve. Um, and lastly, grinding. Of course, you cannot be playing your manually controlling your game and running your main quest whole day, so you're gonna have to run grinding or farming, and grinding and farming is bread and butter for the RPG games like this. And one thing to remember on grinding is online grinding pays better with about more better loot than the black screen mode, which you can activate here. Go into black screen mode, and basically after you confirm, it's gonna close the app, and it's gonna grind on its own for 3 hours. However, it is not as efficient as online grinding. So if you can afford to do online grinding, do so by all means. If you're using playing it on the phone, you can use a split screen. If you have an access to a computer that you can run an emulator, do so. So online grinding is better than Black Spirit, but if you cannot do online grinding, of course use the Black Spirit mode and try to do the grinding as much as possible. That is it for today. It was a little bit of a long video. However, I believe all the information that I gave you is needed for your day one, and probably going on to the first week or so. Please remember and keep your eyes peeled for the contents that I covered today. And thank you very much. Good luck on your journey.